Hola, bon dia. Munson here with the Good Morning Portugal show from expatsportugal.com. How are you today? Please let me know. Already Nick Steinman here in the comments. Bon dia from a sunny London and from Fiona Worrell in Portugal. Bon dia todos. Come on. Say hi. It is normally Feel Good Friday. It is Feel Better Friday because Jenni B is back. We did some amazing inner child work last week. And we are continuing to do that because we just ran out of time. It was so fascinating, so interesting. So many people got so much value out of it that she is back here today, this morning. Here she is, Jenni Baraku of HoliHealthy. How are you this morning?
Morning. I'm really good.
It's great to have you back, Jennifer, because it was so interesting last week. And I think it for some people who kind of understood the concept, it was music to their ears. And then for other people who are kind of new to it, there was a lot of sense in it. And we just straight up ran out of time, didn't we? So we're back again this week to continue. And we're delighted to announce as well that you'll be joining us for it's the first and third Fridays, isn't it? From here on in. So you're going to be a regular.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah. I don't know why we didn't do that before. And from Moscow, bon dia from Caroline. Good morning to you, Caroline. Thanks for joining us last night on that very excellent bit of fun we had last night. The Algarve, Jenny, took on. Carol Crilly Wellness as well. Morning, Jenny. Hope the sun is shining with you, beautiful. It is sunny here in Ireland, lol. Well, that's nice. Excellent. Good morning to you, Carol. Yeah, last night Caroline joined us from Moscow. We had the big rumble in the Portuguese jungle. The Algarve went head-to-head with Central Portugal to find out where the best place was to live. Guess what? Your part of Portugal won it. Central Portugal is currently the reigning heavyweight Portuguese champion of the world, knocking the Algarve off its perch temporarily, probably. And there will be more of those. We had a lot of fun last night. So thank you to everybody who was there for that. Yeah, good morning, Carol Crilly. I think somebody else in the health and wellness business there. You know Carol, by the sound of it.
Therapist.
Oh, a therapist. Excellent. Okay. I think there'll be a lot of therapists here this morning of one kind or another. Bon dia from a sunny Povo de Vargin. We'll have a quick look at the weekend weather for you. Greetings from Harrogate. Congratulations to the Algarve team who came second. Yeah, absolutely. It was so close. We demand a recount. Oh, fantastic. Yes, we'll do that, Paul. It's sounding a bit like the American election, isn't it? But it was so much better than that, I have to say. You were great. So second to Peggy. Bon dia from all the Brewer family. Sorry, I really guffawed there. Who are virtual learning and teaching in sunny West Sussex. West Sussex, good morning to you this morning. Bon dia Alegria from Australia. From Mark, who also was with us. Does the man ever sleep? He was with us last night, or certainly watched the show. Mark Cockerton's here again. Bon dia to our favourite hippie. Is that you?
That's me.
That's you. And Mark and Bella said that you love this morning. Bon dia, Carl. Oh, I think it was Mark, wasn't it? It was talking about it sounded like the inner child had learnt some very grown-up words last week. I think that was Mark's phrase, wasn't it? Very good, Mark. Bon dia, Carl, from a very sunny Knutsford. We may be back by mid-year, Claire and Steve. Yeah, so we'll have a look at what the president's been saying. How it's going to work this morning. Okay, we'll do the weather. We will do what the president's been saying, in relation to things starting to go back to not normality, but, our renaissance here in Portugal, our normal lives. Keep using the word normal. You know what I mean? So we'll find out what the president's been saying. And then I've got a beautiful thing to share with you that came up via Doreen Ray's, one of our lovely community here. And then the spotlight will be fully on Jenny here, and of course all of our inner child. We'll do a bit of healing work, maybe live. I'm not sure if I'm going to do the same thing as I did last week. Joel says good morning from Porto. Donna is here as well. Happy to see Jenny again. See, you're very popular here, Jenny. As an American, I love all you guys' accents, and Jenny's is one of my favorites. Could you place it for Hank, please, Jenny? You're German originally, aren't you?
Yeah, I am. But honestly, I was thinking that that I don't really have a German accent. I'm hoping I do not. But it's funny because I think my travels and throughout my career, I got all different origins. In Ireland, they thought I'm South African. In Australia, they thought I'm Canadian. In Hong Kong, they thought I'm Australian. So it's really funny.
I can understand all of those. Yeah, but she's German, Hank, and but she's got a bit of a German twang, I think. But all of those international influences are in there as well, I would say. Bon dia alegria from a sunny boulevard of broken dreams, Pete. Oh, and maybe in need of a little bit of therapy coming up soon there, Pete. Bon dia from a beautiful sunny Devon from Penny, a hypnotherapist, a jewelry designer, maker, confused. That's perfectly acceptable in this day and age, Penny. We are many things, aren't we? And we're being allowed to be many things. It's not as if you have to do the same job from leaving school at 15 until the day you retire anymore. We can be so many things. That's something to be thankful for in the modern world, isn't it? Bom dia from Marcos Valbon, one of our wonderful Portuguese correspondents. From Paul Williams, bon dia alegria from a very wet Cabanas Tavira, hoping for a happy, if not sunny weekend. We'll find out in just a moment there, Paul. And thanks for being in the wine club, both you and Penny. Fantastic last night. We had the export director, Marcio Ferreira from Emelinda Wines in Setúbal, and he was amazing. His passion was coming through, and we enjoyed his wine greatly. I absolutely love German. You could say you are petting a kitten in German, and it sounds like you want... Oh, stop it. You can't say things like that, Hank. I can't believe I even put that on the screen. It does say it's fantastic. Seriously, Hank. Bon dia, alegria. It's lucky Jenny's got a sense of humor, isn't it? We might have lost one or two German guests with a comment like that on the screen. A soft... lightly inflected German accent, Jenny. Very nice. So there's a lot of comments about your accent this morning. Oh, Hank. Right. So let's have a quick look at this weather, shall we? Let's see what the weekend's going to look like. We'll see what the presidents have been saying, and then we'll have a nice cozy chat with Jenny. So let me just bring the weather up onto the screen. My inner child has already demanded Jaffa cakes for breakfast, Jenny, and that's what we had. We went with it. Which has been great. Also, the water pump's broken here, so I haven't had to have a shower. So this morning, or I just haven't been able to have a shower. So it's like, yes, my inner child has taken over my lifestyle this morning. So who knows what else might happen? So here we are. The weather in Portugal, struggling to make it onto the screen here. There is no weather for Portugal. Just look out the window. Look, there you go. Just some scrolling wheels there. So we'll that's not very helpful, is it? It looks like a snowstorm, possibly. We'll come back to that. We will instead go to the president and what he's having to say about lifting of the lockdown. Okay, if that all load as well. Oh no, have got that. Sorry, I thought that had disappeared as well for a moment. No, we've got that, and I will bring that on the screen for you so you can see Marcelo's face as I read his words. Here we go. If we are sensible, says the president, the worst has passed. Portugal's president explains yet again why lockdown stays in place from Natasha Don, 25th of February, of course, yesterday. President Marcelo marked Parliament's approval this afternoon for his decree for Portugal's 12th state of emergency, 12th, to explain yet again why the nationwide lockdown that is crucifying so many businesses must stay in place until after Easter. See what she did there? If we are sensible, the worst has passed, he stressed, the underlying message being if power makers yielded to the temptation of reopening the economy now, as numbers are falling dramatically, Portugal could be back to square one within weeks. A country that doesn't learn from history is condemned to repeat it, said Marcelo, insisting that we have to keep going as we are until Easter to win the summer and the autumn. So it sounds like we're sacrificing Easter in order to have a decent summer and autumn. Easter, as the country has all along been prepared to accept, is cancelled. It seems to be the message from the high-ups there politically, and the way ahead afterwards will be carefully planned, unhurried, so that Portugal is not caught up in a further virus drama. Nobody got time for that. At least that's the plan. Elsewhere, there have been warnings today of possibilities of a fourth wave, worrying new variants in the United States, and very high rates still of propagation throughout Europe. Boo. Portugal is playing it safe, and if polls are anything to go by, 46% citizens accept the decision and even agree with it. There's a familiar statistic. 46 plays 54, 48 plays 52. It seems to be the world, doesn't it, at the moment? Sorry, that wasn't even on the screen, was it, what I was reading out there? Weather-wise, has that bothered to cut? Yes, okay, I'll just do this very quickly. Porto is currently, I think I just swallowed a fruit fly. That's unfortunate. 12 degrees in a clear sky, rising to 17. Rainy day today, but Sunday and Monday are looking sunny in Porto. In the capital, 12 degrees and light rain there. 15 degrees the high, and again a sunny Sunday and Monday. Saturday a bit cloudy, as it will be in Porto. Coimbra, Friday today, 11 degrees, overcast clouds, 19 degrees the high. Cloudy tomorrow, Saturday, but sunny for Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Then down there in the south, 15 degrees the high today. Broken clouds at the moment, and actually you have to wait till next week for a bit of sun, although that may telescope forwards. Who knows? It sometimes happens with the weather, doesn't it? So they just give you an indication. Sunny times are on the way. Spring is on the way. Jenny, before, sorry, I've talked so much already this morning, but there is one more thing I want to share with you, if I may. Can I do this?
Yeah, of course, it's your show.
And thank you. It's our show, and it will be more so first and third Fridays, Feel Good Fridays. But this came in from Doreen Reyes in America, one of our lovely community. You're not imagining it, this meme says. Nobody seems to want to talk right now. Messages are brief and replies late. Talk of catch-ups on Zoom are perpetually put on hold. Group chats are no longer pinging all night long. It's not you. It's everyone. We're spent. We have nothing left to say. We're tired of saying, I miss you, and I can't wait for this to end. So we mostly say nothing, put our heads down, and get through each day. You're not imagining it. This is a state of being like no other we've ever known, because we're all going through it together, but so very far apart. Hang in there, my friend. When the mood strikes, send out all those messages, and don't feel you have to apologize for being quiet. This is hard. No one is judging. How lovely is that? And I think that's a lovely preface to going inside and feeling, you know, dealing with the inner child pains, traumas, and past. Jennifer is here to help us do that this morning.
Hello, good morning. Thanks for sharing this, Carl. That was beautiful. Nice prefix to go there. I mean, we've just to give it a little summary from last week. We have all been talking already about the inner child concept and what it could have for consequences for us in our grown-up life, and this lack we trying to fill sometimes with different things like a relationship or the fancy car or a posh house or whatever, that all these things at the end of the day will never fill this gap. And with no relationship in the world or no car in the world, you can fill what you have been missing as a child from your parents.
Yeah.
So best thing is to take on the responsibility and be your own parent.
Right.
And we've already had this little sheet I was sharing after the show last week, because I really had to go real quickly. Sorry for that, but thanks for being back here again today, continuing this beautiful topic. So there were a couple of questions on that sheet, just how you can, you know, tickle your inner child and see, find out what has been there. Like we've been saying in the shop, oh, what would you go for now? Huh? Like you this morning having Jaffa cakes for breakfast. So these tiny.
Here they are.
Yeah.
It's what I fancied. Yep.
And but sometimes, you know, it's not always that rosy, and that's something I really wanted to scratch today as well. There might be a part of our inner child that's not happy out and just carelessly playing, and if we start to connect with it, it might not be the way you were hoping it's gonna go.
Yeah.
Sorry, just to put my charger in here.
No.
So maybe to share something with you from my experiences, my personal experiences. When I met my inner child the first time, oh my God, guys, honestly, I would have preferred to run away right away, because it was just terrible. It was one little, yeah, it was honestly no fun. It was one little absolutely destroyed little being just running around from one corner to the other in one room, not being able to stop for a second and just terrified to the last.
Okay.
And that was tough, to see this, because when you take the responsibility, you also start feeling guilty for letting your inner child down so often, potentially. But then it's about to get the switch going of understanding that at that time it was the best possible thing for you to do, and maybe sometimes the only thing, in order for you to ensure your survival. And that's what it's all about. So make peace with this. And the most important thing with inner child work is TLC. Really imagine it would be your grandchild or whatever, just this tiny little innocent being, and exactly how you would approach this innocent grandchild, you should approach your the interaction with your inner child. So don't
Yes.
be mad, whatever is there, if it's not welcoming you, that's okay. It might need its time.
Jenni, can I ask you? You said when you first met your inner child. I mean, that sounds really interesting, and you were happy to talk about your personal experience. What was the context for that? Was it like a therapeutic process, or was it sort of accidental? And what do you mean by that? What was the setting for that happening?
No, in that case, I mean, you might sometimes encounter your inner child, like we've been saying, when you have an argument or whatever, but that happens very subconsciously.
Yes.
But the first time I consciously connected with my inner child in a therapeutical background, of course, yeah, that was quite intense, yeah.
Okay.
But
And
you know
it looked
what?
like a workshop. Was it like a workshop or something, like a special course or something like that?
No, there was a one-to-one trauma therapy session.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But what I recommend, because it's like we carry it all the time. We carry it with us, this inner child. You can't deny it. It's there.
Yes.
You can't separate from it. It's just there.
Yes.
So um, what I recommend, because we forget it so often, is make yourself a little symbol. Pick
Yes.
something that reminds you on your inner child. Huh? Whatever. It could be anything. It could be a little rock. It could be a beautiful necklace. It could be just a little figure, a little statue that it reminds you on you. Could be a scarf or something, that you connect with comfortness, and that reminds you on your inner child. So whenever you see this item, you go like, oh, I remember. I'll send you some.
So it's like a little bit of a prompt, or like an affirmation of your good intention to make a healing and whole relationship with the past of you, with your inner child.
Oh, what happened? I'm losing you.
It's sounding like therapy. I think we.
No.
That wasn't a therapeutic question, was it? I think I'm losing you. That was a technological observation there. I think we've got a slightly bumpy line, but we'll see. We'll persist anyway and see what happens. Because something you said that prompted me to think. Yeah, okay. So you can go to a one-to-one, a therapist. You can go on a course, and people could be watching and thinking, yeah, I get it. But actually, the inner child's never far away, right? And it doesn't. All it takes, and this to me would be one definition or one demonstration of how the inner child operates in our daily lives, is when you get upset. That is so often taking you back to the I said, what is it, like forensic emotions of where you first got upset about something and how you handled it or didn't handle it. I mean, you probably handled it in a way. And then each difficult situation that comes up in life subsequently takes you back to that place, right? So it's not like you do have to go on a course. We're kind of reminded, aren't we, about how whole, integrated, or healed we are by these daily upsets, I would have thought. And especially the big picture at the moment, the pandemic will be one great example of that.
Absolutely. The thing is, what you just been saying is so perfectly right. There's so many things. I have to check my charger. Why it's not charging?
It's a healing
Otherwise, I'll be gone in a second.
All right. Well, while you're doing that,
dealing with charge.
I just put on the screen. So we're continuing with our inner child healing conversation with Jennifer Baracco. She is Jenni of HoliHealthy, which you might see on Facebook, and she works one-to-one with people doing some very interesting work in central Portugal. And she's plugging in her charger so that we can talk now. I think is that. Have you sorted that, Jenni?
So I wanted to show you something.
Oh.
Talking about finding symbols for your inner child, I meant to introduce somebody to you, which also shares my story of the progress I made with my child, which is now a really, really happy child and likes to come to me and hug me. And now,
Gonna do? What is she gonna do? Okay, hold on. Let's zoom in on you. So, what's happening here now, Jenni? Who is this? Is this little you?
Yeah.
How sweet! Did you
That's
make her?
Martalina.
She's
No,
what? Marta.
Martalina.
Martalina. That makes for a good screenshot there. Oh, we're having trouble with our signal here, but she's waving to us now, Martalina, if I've got the name correctly. So how is this working?
Check.
Oh, what a shame. Okay, I'm going to do a few more comments. It might be that you can hear, Jenni, and I can't, sadly. But let me just do a few more comments in the hope that this will settle down a little bit. Hola, bon dia from Alegria de la Ria, from the doc, who has also just become a regular. Good morning from Lisboa, from Lee McGrady. The sun has gone. Again, these could all be therapeutic references as well as meteorological or technological. Good morning, Garvo, checking in from Central Portugal. Central Portugal, massive in the house this morning. Greetings from the Philippines, sending love from Manila. Yeah, we had the rumble in the jungle. There's a thriller from Manila. Nice to see you again, Jen. You got friends all over the world. I enjoy watching your show with Jenni, says Helen. Thank you for tuning in. Very foggy out there today in Moscow. Honestly, I will speak my mind over the news in the man cave tonight, as the promise from Joel. He's not happy by the sound of it. Being honest, I love the language. It's amazing, says Mark, about German and European accents. I think Easter is in early April, so in the next 5 weeks, there's a bit of light being offered at the end of the tunnel, I think, from Mark there. My inner child had a panic attack when you disappeared last night. That's Gary talking to me. We were co-hosting a show and I disappeared. So he was put in that unfortunate position of, like, childhood shock, but being responsible for the situation, which could, of course, initiated some feelings from the past. Peter, not to worry about Easter, it may be cancelled, but I hear that it will rise again a few days later. Boom, very good, Peter. Hank, hola, comrade Andy from Hank. Yes, the doc's here in front of the conference this morning. There you go. It always rains in Coimbra. People are still bitter from the Algarve, I think, from last night's battle. Nick remembering that from last night. Always rains in Coimbra. That's Porto, surely the Manchester of Portugal. Better to lose Easter than bump along between a cycle of spikes and deaths, says Mark. Best thing the government here did was act quickly, and then breakouts happened. They jumped hard and stayed firm until it stopped. I don't envy you guys, he continues, in Europe, but a lot of it has been slow reactions, lack of commitment from governments there. So maybe your guy can help guide you to get on top of things. Fingers crossed. And just finally, for the moment, Doreen, bon dia, I'm so glad you enjoyed my post. Really did, Doreen. I thought it was beautiful. Thanks for sharing. I hope it helpfully resonates with many. How are we doing with our connection there, Jenni? Because we need to meet Martalina.
You can meet Martalina. There you go. Look at her. She's got a badass cool hoodie.
She got a badass cool hoodie. That's good to know.
she's badass. She's badass.
So tell us how she works in your life and why we should do I need to get a little Carlotti or something like that for my own healing purposes?
You know, it's again just a symbol that your precious thing you have inside of yourself, and to remind you on being more gentle and loving with yourself in so many regards. Because I'll just hug it, Gary. If my inner child doesn't want to talk much, I'll just hug it. If it wants to, huh? If it
Yes.
doesn't, that's okay. So the most important thing in this work is to gaining the trust of your inner child, huh? Because it has been hurt at some point, and it might be a bit skeptical towards what's going to happen. I mean, I'm 35 now, not speaking to it for 30 years. You know, it might go like, no.
Yeah. 30
But
years
that's
have passed,
okay.
and you just expect to walk into my life. I understand that. I mean, it is like an abandoned child, isn't it? That you see in films. You know, like, yeah, you want to talk to me after all these years. Well, I'm not ready to talk to you. It's that kind of vibe could be taking place, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And then it's a matter again of, nothing. What's that stuff? No, I don't want this. What's my inner child? It doesn't want me. No, it's okay, and even if it's just these two words, it's okay. If you keep on telling yourself this, that already makes a big difference throughout the day in situations where you would go mental because you haven't met your own expectations. That's what it usually is.
Yes, indeed. There's a few more comments coming in. Carl, I think our line's improving, which is great. Carl, can you give Jenny a virtue hug? She looks very cold in central Portugal. Another reference to last night. Cloth doll reminds me of Magic Roundabout. So Mark being taken back to his childhood in some way, which is great. Jeff Jackson, bon dia from the US. Gemini, good morning, everyone. Speaking of the face of, the chat on YouTube wasn't working. Oh dear. Hopefully that's righted itself now. Good morning, Martelina. Virtual hug from Carol. So your friends know you're Martelina there. Welcome back, Jenny from Gemini. Raining in the Algarve this morning, where apparently it should be blue sky. They're still at it. Algarve versus Central Portugal. I think maybe I need to suppress my inner child. I can't wait to nurture some ducks and herd some sheep and goats and naked tree hugging with brummies. So now we're talking. We are. I mean, people. I think the idea is kind of being adopted, being discussed here, and there is. I think the thing with therapy, and maybe I should own this as a sort of British bloke. I'm guessing that there might be some fellas who are a bit uncomfortable about embracing their inner child, the little lad they left a long time ago. What can be done about that? I mean, for people who are a bit reluctant or a bit embarrassed in this regard.
I mean, there's in any of these situations, you might feel a bit uncomfortable or not really understanding what the sense of it is, or you know what I mean.
Yes.
Put it this way: give it a. The worst thing that can happen is it was a shitty experience.
Mm.
But the best thing you can try is you might find a part within yourself that which has been lost. I know what happens a lot with guys. We've been scratching it the last time. The typical, "Come on, Carl, man up, don't cry." In Germany, it's "Indians don't know any pain," and things like that.
Seriously,
Sorry.
that's a German phrase. Indians don't know any pain, as in cowboys and Indians.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Okay. Right.
yeah.
So you.
So
So
these
you were,
things,
sorry, go on.
No.
Yeah, so you got the older fella. I mean, and Penny makes a great comment here. I think it's possible, isn't it? You might go through this sort of emotional desert because you've got stuff to do in the world, if you like. And Penny says the great thing about being in your 60s is your inner child comes out to play more and more. So it might be that and our demographic here, to be fair, is probably 50 plus. It might be that we can welcome. We're entering into the age of possibly being grandparents, so we could parent our inner child and we could grandparent our inner child, couldn't we? Because that's often easier. I think you notice that with grandparents, don't you? They're often more playful with their grandchildren than parents might be. So that could be a possible angle and tactic on this, couldn't it?
I missed the last bit there, but yeah, absolutely, Carl. That's a great approach. Whenever you have problems to be loving towards yourself, you can as well imagine, like you said, as if there would be a little grandchild inside of you, or even a puppy, or whatever it is that you really go mental on, and that your caretaker instinct is absolutely triggered by. Just go and pick something really, really fragile, really precious, and understand that in this fragility, there's also one of your greatest powers.
I quite like that froze up with that gem there. In the fragility, there is this great power.
Stop moving.
Look, is this your dad here? This is interesting now. So I love you so. I miss you so much
Oh,
from
yes.
Daddy. So your dad's here. This is great. Uwe, if I pronounce that correctly? Uwe.
Uwe.
Uwe, I'm so sorry. Okay, Uwe, great to hear from you this morning. And this is lovely that your own parent is here. And how is that? I mean, I'm going to ask you a really personal question now because I find this very interesting, and I'm imagining you can handle this. But do you live in a family that has an acknowledgement of the therapeutic process you're going through? I mean, your dad's tuned in, and he's speaking to you in a very affectionate way here.
Yeah. I'm gonna, as I don't like to hold back with anything, I'm gonna be brutally honest here.
Oh, okay.
And then when you see this, don't go mad with me. It all comes from my heart, and I love you. But one of the reasons why my inner child was the state I was just sharing with you is because this dad is participating there, has not participated in my life at all. Not the slightest. So if there would have not been a phone call on my 8th birthday where my mom gave me the phone saying there's your dad on the phone wanting to say happy birthday, I would have not even known that there would be another man as my father than the one my mother had at that time. And then there was no contact for basically all my life. And I know that a lot of my relationship issues, of course, were connected to this. And last year in May, I got all my courage and all my balls together and decided to call him for his 60th birthday.
Wow.
The one you read. And that was amazing. That was so good. And there's no blame, there is no offense. Everybody has its reasons. And I don't blame you for anything you did. And I know you did the best possible thing you could. But honestly, that took a while to not just understand it here, to also understand this here. And that's what inner child work can do a lot for you.
Wow.
Going into this forgiveness towards situations from your parents or friends or whatever, where they've just been hurt. Simple as that. Your feelings are never wrong. It might not be that the other person meant it in any way, shape, or form in a bad way, but still it hurts you. That's okay. But then it's about saying as well, it is okay to feel like this at the moment and go on.
Yeah. That's
And I'm
amazing.
so proud and so happy my dad is joining. It's really sweet.
That is an amazing share, Jenny, and thank you, Uwe, for being here and being part of that. And I'm sure that can't be easy, but what a lovely sense of resolution as well. And to me, it shows that on the one hand, you could think, okay, these guys are talking about their inner child work again. Carl and Jenny, right pair of hippies from central Portugal, talking about inner child work. But you've touched on the tough stuff there, and you've talked on the massive transformational power to heal hurts from that could persist and last through generations. And the pair of you there, Ulvi and you, Jenny, in some way, by the sound of it, have tackled it and had have been brave enough and courageous enough to have a conversation about it after decades. So I take my hat off to you, and it just there's the power there. If anyone's wondering, yeah, all right, it's all very well and good, pink and fluffy inner child work. There's some power for you. There's some transformation. There's some healing by the sound of it to get over a hurt that you could have held on to for the whole of your life, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, I would have 100%.
Yeah. Yeah. But there you are. Correct.
Sorry, Carl?
Absolutely courageous is what I'm saying. Incredible. You do have balls, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but I mean, thank you. Thanks.
And you wanted to add something there?
Yeah, I mean, what you just said there, that I could have potentially carried this all my life. I would like to give you a quick example, because you, Rizal, really good comment. Absolutely. Because I know it matches with a lot of people, and it kind of goes back to what we've been saying earlier with the being your own parent, and that nothing in the whole world will ever fill this gap you experience and feel that came from these early child days.
Yeah.
So what happens then, and that counts the same like me, in a crazy despair of finding this love somewhere, you go from one relationship into the next one, never finding it.
Yeah.
Bring all your love in and all your trust in and get disappointed again. But there would have been no outcome, because the thing you bring to the relationship can never by anyone.
Yes. Yeah. So it's not
again,
just about
so
that.
important.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Jenny. It's the difficulty we've got.
Carl,
No, but we're doing it to each other here. I thought you'd finished. I thought it was a gap, and I was just talking into it, but I interrupted you there. You're amazing dad here, Uwe. There are things that I cannot change in my life, but deep in my heart, I love you deeply, and deeply in my thoughts and heart always. Wow, incredible, huh? Oh my word! Oh, stop it, everybody! You got me going now. Okay, let's read a few comments. I mean, there's some upset here on the Good Morning Portugal show this morning, but I got to say it's good upset. It's transformational stuff, quite incredible. I'll read a few of these as I begin to compose myself. Then you can cross the bridge if you want to understand what the other side is like. That's a comment from Gary there. So many. Oh, and this is sometimes you have to build a bridge. Sorry, I read the second bit first. Hold on a minute. I can't see through these tears. Let me just wipe these. So. Wow. Okay. We talked about Bitcoin on Tuesday, and we talked. It's been quite a week talking about different things. The rumble in the Portuguese jungle last night. Now Jenny's here, and with her dad, taking me to pieces. So I'm just gonna compose myself here and read a few of your comments. This is quite extraordinary. Okay. She's blowing bubbles. She's tempting all of our inner childs back out. Let's have a bit of a catch up here with the comments. Mark Rigby, the inner child triggers an adult's emotional response situations, whether it's conscious or subconscious. Thank you, Mark. Gary, just to dispel any cold comments about central Portugal, because twice last summer we got over 50 degrees, even broke our thermometers. They're still battling it out there. We'll come back to those comments at the end of the show, the ones to do with central Portugal and the Algarve. Mark says, Jacqueline Claire Bender is here. Claire, we know her as. Bon dia, Carl. The cuddly grandfather and grumpy old man are both expressions of the inner child, but the cuddly grandfather is preferable, absolutely, with a few warm Werther's mints in his pocket, I would say as well. Carla Freeman, just a suggestion for starting out that has worked is to ask a question or invite some storytelling, like what was your favorite game growing up, or what animal did you like and why? Lovely, Carla. And we'll talk to you. You've written a book around this kind of subject, so we'll have you on the show soon, I hope. Mark Rigby, it's good that your father cares now, helps your inner child to heal. How lovely. Prosecco Peggy is in the house as well, a nurse of many decades, who I'm sure would have some interesting input into this conversation and probably will as well. Jenny, sending much love to you. That is very emotional, very brave to share that with us all. Inspirational. Gary, Bridgeman Gary, and with his bridge metaphor there, fantastic. More of that tonight in the man cave, I'm sure. Me too, says Penny. I didn't see my dad from 7 years old until I was an adult. Wow, it does have an impact on relationships, even when you understand it and have worked on it. And sounds like so you've done quite a lot of transformational healing work there as well, Penny. Forgiveness absolutely heals the person who offers it, says Rizal. Good morning to you, Rizal. Thank you for that. You're absolutely right. Good morning, Carl and Jenny. Wow, so touched by what you said. I really get you. I've been through it myself. Forgiveness is paramount, and we are lucky we dealt with it. Sending hugs. Thank you, Debbie. Lots of love to you. Claire, so hard to remember life as a lonely child who wanted you down. I'm very glad you have him now in your life. How lovely. Pete, there is no point holding resentment. It's like taking poison and expecting someone else to get sick. So true, Pete. And I think, wasn't it Nelson Mandela who uttered that? And your dad with his lovely comment. Uwe, thank you so much for being here. I mean, you could have just disappeared, and thought, I'm not. This is uncomfortable, but here you are, my friend, and thank you so much for being here this morning. Totally, the stuff from parents is not to judge them. They believed what was best at the time, with the knowledge and tools that were available. It's so true, isn't it? As terrible as we might imagine it to be, they really are doing their best. I always think to what their life experience was and how that affected their and my reality and their parents too. I'm grateful to have the learnings to look at this through love and without judgment. I'm thinking as well, I have a tea towel here from the wine club that I use to polish the glass with before I drink out of it. I'm going to have to blow my nose on it in a minute. Stand by for that. Jenny has the most incredible smile. The inner child work is emotional. It should be. Love to all. We've got this. Thank you very much, Mark. Tears, smiles, and progress. A powerful blow. Absolutely, we've got it all here. I love the thought of a therapist who feels confident enough to show her own emotions. Love you, Jen, says Gary. And am I right here, though, that the fellas are offering sort of quite rational thing? So it's very good, this healing thing, and this is how this works, and this is how that works. And the women are like, yeah, this is great. Bring it on. It's fine to let it hang out and let it come out. But that's a funny old gender thing in this world. Jenny, so what else? Where do we go from here in this conversation while I just blow my nose on a tea towel? Excuse me.
Yeah, I'll go ahead. No work. Go do
No,
that.
I've got to. You can see it, but I've got to mute the mic because otherwise that would be disgusting. People are having breakfast at this time of day.
So just thank you guys, everybody, for your feedback for this. And yes, I do have by now the balls to share this all with you, because an important thing for me is to break the barrier between, you see people who did some work and they're all like, in their own world and all so spiritual and blah. And you are in your shithole, excuse me, if it's really bad, and you think like, sorry, and you think like, how the heck am I gonna go from here to there? That's not possible. So it is about, for me, it's so important. I have all my skills and all my experience and all my knowledge because I was challenged quite in my life. but I'm blessed because through all these experiences, I am now here being able to share all this with you. And
Mhm.
at the same time, thank you, Dad. Otherwise, I would not be here. If this all was not part of my story, I would not be here able to tell you, give you all these tips and share my experiences with you and give you heads up for no matter how dark it is, there's always this little bit of light that
Mm.
can be relightened.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. So much love for you this morning, Jenny. As a follow up to what Fiona said, trauma is often generational. It's an interesting point, actually. It gets carried forward from generation to generation, I suspect, if it's not healed, transformed, and then expressed in various ways. I've come across family constellation therapy, where it was the most incredible. It's an interview I did with somebody who did this work, and there might be someone in the family now who doesn't know why they're an outcast of the family. Have family, the black sheep in the family or whatever. And it's so often this stuff, these poor kids, they're a bit different or whatever, and they become the focus of the discomfort of the family. And for their sake as well, the work you're doing, the work you're talking about is really important, isn't it, Jenny? That as a family, as families, as communities of people, we can face this stuff.
What you did is really important. I like the approach of family constellations because they work with the concept that you as a human being, you're impacted and influenced by the system you're living in.
Yeah.
Mainly your macro system, which is your family, your kids, your closest friends. And then all these have an impact on you. And I like this approach because it also is similar to the same thing you can adapt to the body. What I said last time, when you work on your pinky finger, might also do something on your hip which you don't even know, but it's all intertwined and interconnected, so it's important. It's really good. I like that. And
Yeah.
you're right, it was the same for me. All my life I was like, oh my god, honestly, I went through shit, but the stuff I'm carrying, that's much more than you would imagine to be carried and piled up in one life. And
Yes.
it was like that, exactly like this. All the rubbish I got on from my mum, whoop, 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 I kept being, and yeah, one more on top. And then you tend to not to take responsibility for yourself. You tend to go out and easily welcoming to take the responsibility for others, and
Mm.
and keep on putting more in this backpack, keep on putting more in this backpack, and you carry and you carry and you carry, and sooner or later you're not even able to move anymore because you're so oppressed by your own weight.
Yeah. Yeah. And I suspect there are a few people in this community. I'm not going to out anybody, but who are the backpack carriers, possibly of their families. Some very, very sensitive, caring, community-minded people here. And often, what goes with that territory is picking up the tab or carrying the weight of some of the family trauma as well as their own personal stuff. So there's an invitation. What we're talking about. I think that's why people are interested in what you're saying, Jenny. Is that like, okay, enough already? Let's see if we can lighten this load for ourselves first. I think you do have to do the work on yourself first, don't you? But then you might be doing some ancestral, generational work as well by starting the process.
But that's going to come up anyway. It doesn't mean that you need to do a soul retrieval back to your grand uncle and meet him in the past and have a
Yeah.
nice fire and have a little chat about it. That's very abstract. So
Yes, I get it, and
but what
I love how practical you are about these things.
yeah, I think, it's life is serious enough and all these topics are serious on itself, but I think to bring this little bit of fun, let's say, in the whole thing, also takes back a little bit of the restriction or the fear you might have towards it.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, this is fantastic, Jenny. Rizel says, thank you for being vulnerable today, Jenny. I would second that, absolutely. Vara Shetty is here as well. Thank you, Jenny, for being vulnerable. Is the key to many people who are so afraid of this, either from embarrassment or think it is a show of weakness. We're all richer for overcoming life's challenges. Thank you, Vara, for that. Debbie says, our personal traumas come good, especially when we then help others through the same thing. It takes a lot of courage, Jenny. We are blessed. And Peggy says, Jenny has beautiful, expressive eyes. I'm late to this show, so not sure exactly what's going on. Yeah, you kind of turn on the Good Morning Portugal show to find two people weeping. That was one particular moment. It's been quite a journey this morning. It's been laughter and tears. That's what happens when Jenny's here. I think all of life is here in its full glory. And yeah, you're just all reality, reality and vulnerability. I think is what you might be seeing as you've joined us there, Peggy. So going into another comment. Jenni is here from Belgium. Jennifer, what you're saying about living life, I learned from my youngest son. I love it. So the children teaching the parents there, lovely share there, Jenni. We're going into the weekend. We'll see you next Friday. This journey, Jenny, I think we're on it now, aren't we? You know, we had a beautiful week last week. It really struck a chord with a lot of people. We've opened up this morning, literally. What else might you suggest as a little bit of guidance, or if people want to scratch that surface a little bit more and play with the inner child a bit more, what to do?
First, Carl, I have to say, oh my God, is our time gone? Because from my notes, we've only did that much and I had 2 pages.
You're here twice a month now. We're going to carry it forward.
But anyway, I'd like to pick up some things. Oh, thank you. I'd like to pick up on some things we did last week before I finish off. Do you still have 5 minutes for me, Carl?
Of course, absolutely. Yeah, I'm not trying to rush you. I just, we're just easing our way towards the weekend on the Feel Good and Feel Better Friday show. So there's no hurry. Go on, it's all yours.
We're not going to finish off in tears, I promise.
Okay. No, that's it for this year for me.
2.5 tears. I'm already over my.
That's over my limit. Absolutely.
So before I come to the point where you can actually do more to find peace within your inner child, or make peace with some people or situation that might have caused you pain, I'd like to thank you, Carl, for the input of last week of making a webinar. And now from the first time we have been speaking that I said, I don't know if I'm ready for this. And as people who know me know it's where you got to go. So I decided, right, okay, we do this then. So I'm going to make a workshop for the inner child. I'm going to release the date on Monday. And then, of course, everybody who wishes is happy to join. I will as well publish it then in the next Friday show to talk more about this. But what we're going to do in the workshop, I can already tell you, it will be a little nice and easy start off to get us all in a good mood before we take on the travel to our little child. And what we're going to do is we make a little exercise to find out the core beliefs you're carrying inside of you. So all the things that came from mom and dad, and then created this vision of this image of I that you have at the moment. And then we're going to transform them into more positive affirmations you can use for your future life in order to be in this peaceful sphere. And we're going to finish this whole thing off with celebrating your own birthday party. again in a little imagination, and I'm really looking forward to this, and I hope I'll see some people of you there. But like I said, I'm going, thank you, Jacqueline. I'm going to publish it on Monday on my page and tell more about it next Friday.
Oh, look.
And another thing you said to me last time was, oh, can you just say in one sentence what you're doing? And I was like, "Mm." And I have to admit, it really, really is hard for me. And I'd like to explain you why, because I know a lot of people need some sort of explanation, like what the heck is she gonna do with me once I should decide to maybe go this road.
Yes.
Little hippie there, what is she gonna do with me? So
Yeah.
I'd like to explain. So I am not a person who follows any particular scheme or any particular technique. There are loads and loads out there. And I see my strength in I have a very wide knowledge about so many different healing approaches. And there is a lot out there, but I know as well when you are in a situation that you're in need of help, you might be overwhelmed by all the offers.
Yes.
And then when you go, yeah, and when you go the classic way, what is it? You call a psychotherapist and he's going to tell you, yes, Carl, I'd like to work with you. So in the next 6 months or 2 years, I might be able to give you an appointment. Are you okay with this? So you go there and you wait, you wait and you wait. And after 1.5 years, you finally have your appointment. And then you go there and it turns out you can't stand this person. And you're not going to share your deepest life with this person. Not
Yeah.
by any chance.
Yeah.
And you might do. And then, anyway, making a long story short, you might try something and have a not the best experience. And then you, no, I'm never, ever, ever going to do this again. So, saving you a lot of time, money, and effort, I see my strength in the fact that I know of all this. And when you come to me, and I think that should be the job of a good therapist, I talk to you, I see you, I experience you, and all these information gathered together in my brain, and then my brain spits out to myself, okay, that could be good for Carl, okay, that's, oh, yeah, all right. So I make the choice for you, what I think would be worth trying for you to create a certain transformation in your life.
Mm.
And that can be very different because we are all individual, and the same way we are individual, the same way is each and every therapy individual, from my point of view. I
Yeah.
know a lot of people, they just follow scheme X and every person basically gets the same treatment, but for me that's not really working.
Okay.
So, and then what I do is, with this holistic approach, which sometimes people don't know if I'm running around with incense around them, or it can happen, but you. So what I see as a trial to explain what I'm doing, I do work on the intellectual level first because it is important that you understand what we're doing.
Mm.
And through this, we're feeding the subconsciousness with new information so you can develop new paths in your brain.
Yeah.
And from there, we embody this information into your physical system in basically everything that comes from down there.
Yeah.
So you will not hit the wall at a certain point when you do understood everything.
Yes.
And you might already had a shift in the feeling as well, but your body, as your unconsciousness, keeps feeding your brain with the information threadful. So in order to have this long-lasting result or ability to handle this, my goal is to optimize the toolbox you have in your head. So at the end of the day, you will be self-sufficient enough to deal with whatever it's gonna come.
Brilliant. Okay. And to me, Jenny used the T word in there, transformation. I think we're in a collective situation now where we are poised on this choice or possibility of transformation. And by that, I mean, and that's why I'm so glad you're here, and why we're even able to have a conversation in the company of other people who seem to be interested. We're in a time in the world, whatever it is, in culture, in our society, where we can transform the stuff that's been holding us back individually and collectively. And I love what you're doing. I love your approach to it, and I would encourage people to grasp that, to give it a go, to look into this. It doesn't need, it could be with Jenny. You could go to a workshop, but the first thing is that individual, isn't it? Saying, okay, I'm ready to transform the past in as much as the bits of my past that are holding me back. And we know what they are, don't we? I don't think anyone is free of them. I think we've lived in a culture where it's been protected and it's been okay to not go there. And we've needed to do that probably for our collective survival. But by some quirk of history or fate or whatever it is, we're now in a position where we're comfortable. I'm talking about the sort of people who are here. We're comfortable enough to be able to say, okay, now we've got this kind of level of material comfort. Dare we go into the emotional transformation now and deal with the things? And if people don't know what that is, it's the thing that's not working in your life. And we've all got areas, haven't we, where things aren't working. And that you couldn't wish for a better sign than that. It's like, where is it not working? And one of my favorite things, and it's a bit blokey, but it's like, people are saying this, that, and the other. And it's like, well, how's that working out for you? If it's not working out very well, there's probably something you're not doing quite right in terms of functionality and healing, and you're managing your emotional states and you're managing your emotions. So there's your work. There's the bit where it's not working, where you've got broken relationships with others or with yourself. There's the moment. There's the place to start in this transformational journey that Jenny is so good at articulating and has this wonderful toolkit to approach. So, Jenny, thank you for sharing that with us.
Just really quickly to finish off then, Carl, thank you for sharing this as well. And it's exactly what you say. It is these situations, they constantly coming back in your life. This in Germany, we would say the red string that goes through your life, situations that reoccur in your life over and over again. And you always ask yourself, what's my part on this? I don't know why this always happens to me. But law of attraction, huh?
Yes.
So, but another real good thing I like to say is that even if you don't feel you're ready for this transformation, at least if there is a certain dissatisfaction in your life, ask yourself, are you able to change it? And if not, the other second peaceful solution is to accept it then. Everything despite that, it's a waste of energy and time.
Yeah. And probably may well be causing pain and chaos in your life.
Hurt people. So you might as well be the one who breaks the circle.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Before we head into the weekend, one little exercise, really quickly, to comfort ourselves whenever we feel quite well and a bit overwhelmed with our feelings. We can give ourselves a hug including some acupressure points, so basically tricking as well your inner child and giving him some love without it even wanting it. So you take your right hand and you put it in your armpit a little bit lower for the lady.
Okay. Yeah.
For the ladies, where your bra is, so a bit higher there, and a slight pressure there in your side, and then the other hand you put on your shoulder, and then you squeeze a little. It's really gentle, and you might already feel how this gives you a certain comfort feeling. And if you want to go absolutely mental, you as well dig your head in your elbows, and you shake a bit back and forth, and that is just the most comforting thing you can do to yourself. And it's really nice. Even when I see you, I just want to hug you, Carl.
I know. That's so nice. That is like tricking yourself into being hugged, isn't it? That's beautiful.
Yeah.
The things you get me doing. I mean, I wasn't going to do it again this week, but I'm glad I did. But I'm just wondering if Mrs. M comes into the studio now and just sees me hugging myself and rocking. I've got a little bit of explaining to do. But it's all good. That's so lovely. And is anyone trying that at home now? That's fantastic. Something you can do even in social isolation. I feel better for that.
Exactly.
That's incredible. So a few more comments for you that you absolutely need to hear, Jenny, before you go. Have you got a PayPal address?
Yes.
Have you? You need to tell me that because Gary's leading the way here. People want to buy you a drink. Or herbal tea, obviously, in your case. So what's your PayPal address? Let's do that now. Or can you send it? Is it an easy one?
Shall I?
Yeah, send it to me.
Send it in the link chat.
Send it to me in the private chat there, and I'll cut and paste it across. But we've got some lovely, comments. Carl, you're at it again. She made me do it. I've got a stiff neck now. Well, that'll be referring to some other thing. So that's setting you off on your healing journey there, Paul. Follow that stiffness. Thank you, Carl, and thank you, Jenny. Group hugs to all from Mark Cockerton. Very late tuning in today. I would so love to start a new journey. Jenny, you're amazing, from Susan Renshaw. You can, Susan, and you're among friends here. Who I'm sure, we only know each other by name, and don't we, and profile pic, but there's so much love in this community, I think, as Gary's mentioning in just a moment. I see so many people with fear. Let your fear go, and your life will be so much more real living, says Jenny in Belgium. Absolutely. So what was that? What was the PayPal address, Jenny?
Yeah. I just followed you with the comment.
Please do that. Please do that, because it's easy.
Very cool.
We want to make sure we've got that right. So bung that to me.
I will. Of course, I'm not saying no to this.
No, absolutely, and it's very easy just to ping a little bit of a drink over to Jenny if you found it helpful this morning or in subsequent weeks or weeks to come, because she's going to be my guest on the 3rd Friday. Yeah, go on. Sorry.
I'll be really honest.
Yeah.
I'll probably use the money to put in the piggy bank for my kids' project. But anyway, I appreciate it. Thanks very much.
You can do what you want with the money, but I have a little intervention here. You must treat yourself and your inner child in some way. Okay, it mustn't all go to the project. We'll do another appeal for the project. Right. Yes. Okay. Professor Munson. Okay. Yes, of course. Martelina will approve of that. Look at this. Try the self-hug. It works. On a lighter note, my inner child is saying, forget about Central Portugal and the Algarve. The president is visiting Povoa de Varzim today to open a literary festival. How does he know I live here? Yes, Mark. Go and skip and jump in front of the president and shake his hand. I want a picture of you, a selfie, a playful selfie of you with the president as a result from today. Carl, you're at it again. No, I can explain. Sounds like, from Caroline, the Kabbalist practice of pausing and asking oneself, why is this in my story? A great question. We've done that, Gary. That's a great suggestion. Thank you, sir. Great idea. Can you make a link where we can buy Jenny coffee? There's a PayPal address if you want to make a little bit of a contribution or buy a drink. Thank you, Colin and Jenny, for a great morning. Have a good weekend. Fiona Worrell says, yes, if we do our work, we can pass the tools on to our children and grandchildren. And with projects such as Jennifer's Rainbow Warriors, even more of the next generations can be empowered to heal themselves and avoid some of the pain passing on. We're so looking forward to how that's shaping up. We really are. From Doreen, big hugs to you all, and Martelina. Wonderful news about the workshop. Cannot wait. So it sounds like Jacqueline Branco is ready for that workshop and may join you. With all the negative things in the world, says Gary, it's a beautiful thing to know that all these wonderful contacts and friends I've made probably wouldn't have happened in a different set of circumstances. Thank you, lovely people. Looking forward to meeting as many of you as I can, says Gary. How lovely. Thank you, Carl and Jenny from Gemini. There and from Mark in Australia. Great show, Carl. You're really building a tribe with a significant variety of interest. All under your well-intentioned and humorous guidance. Thanks to you and all your contributors. Thank you, Mark. I'll pass that on. Jenny's here to receive that personally. Fiona, hey, Jennifer, if you've sussed the whole webinar thing out, maybe you can teach me. Terrified of this stuff, but constantly being asked to do some things. Time to face that fear and get it done. Yes, Fiona. Carol, love the show, Carl and Jenny. Jenny, you're a bundle of inspiration, wisdom, love, and healing. Have a fab weekend. Second that for sure. And I think that just about wraps it up. Maybe one or two more comments here. It's Abu Muhammad. It seems like I came to the show at the end of it. You did, Abu, but you can always watch it again, either on Facebook or YouTube. It'll be immortalized there. Beijinhos a todos. Some kisses to go with our self-hugs there from Filomena Pascual, who also will be here on a monthly regular basis. We're firming up all these wonderful people in our fabulous community here. Jenny, bon fin de semana, of course, we should say. Bon fin de semana a todos. And to you, Jenny, thank you so much for reducing me to tears today and bringing your excellent wisdom and guidance.
Thank you, Carl, for having me again. Thanks all the people for being so open and loving and sweet as you all are. And I was wondering, for the next show, I just have a couple of topics in my head, and I just thought I'll spit them out here, and maybe people can give us a feedback what they would like.
Oh,
but I was thinking, as I'm also this reformed pharmacist, and I know there's a couple of things going on, and we've had the supplement thingy already a bit touched. I was wondering if I should shall do a show for supplements and common important advices the doctor usually doesn't tell you.
Yep.
For the classical meds, they are mainly used. Or I was thinking we could do one for communication in general. We could do one for, of course, my project. We could do one for body awareness and body-mind connectivity. Very good, Abu. Keep on doing that. What else? Self-love is also a big one we could do.
Oh, yes.
Which kind of, is probably meeting everybody. Yes, supplements, yeah, and sources, yeah, I get you. Maybe nutrition and food trends could be another one. Anxiety, dealing with anxiety. I think we should do them all. Yeah,
I agree with Shelley. It's a yes. It's a yes to all of those. I didn't hear any of those and thought, no, maybe not. All perfect. Absolutely brilliant.
Good.
So it's a big yes from us all. Yeah, Jenny, thank you so much. And have a super weekend. Don't forget, folks, we've got, I'll leave that on the screen. You got jbaraku@gmail.com, which is the PayPal address if you want to bung a herbal tea over. So goodbye to Martelina. I've got to get myself a little Carlito, I think. And to Jenny. Take care. Ciao, ciao. Beijinhos, abrazos.
Bom fim de semana. Obrigada. Ciao, ciao.
Obrigado.